Welcome back to Scary Hours, my good people. I'm your host, P. Shout out to all my returning horror fans. And if you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that bell before you go so you know when I drop a new video. Tonight, we slicing into Scream 7, the newest entry that brings Ghostface back into a town that thought it was done with knives and secrets. But all scary movie rules still matter. Now, legacy survivors reunite with a new generation of targets in an attempt to thread franchise history into a fresh whodunit. Well, let's dive in. A 2026 horror film directed by Kevin Williamson, starring Neve Campbell, Courtney Cox, and Isabel May. A new Ghostface killer emerges in the quiet town where Sidney Prescott has built her new life, turning her darkest fears to reality as her daughter becomes the next target. You see the shirt the kids got me? Ghostface is back in Scream 7, the latest edition, leaning into the nostalgic DNA of the franchise while trying to input some new emotional stakes. Now, let's be honest here. We're at number 7, y'all, so we know it's doing something at the box office. But the story is starting to wear thin, running off constant cliches and tropes. But I am a Scream fan, so I always check it out. I like the first two. I Know What You Did Last Summers also, but didn't care for the 2025 movie much and how they wanted to run on nostalgia and tie in the legacy characters. Scream 7 is basically doing the same thing, but straight out the gate I can tell you, it's handled much better here. Well, at least for the most part. They bring back Matthew Lillard as Stu in a creative way that fits modern times. We get Neve Campbell back as Sidney Prescott's world collided with the new Ghostface killer targeting her daughter and friends, while legacy survivors from part 1 through 6 are pulled back into the action. Now we all know the formula by now. The film opens with the kill to let everybody know it's happening again, reestablishing the rules and which characters are vulnerable, checking for the new suspects and red herrings, all types of misdirects, how many killers are there. They finally get to the classic Scream unmasking and what their motives are. See, this is where Scream 7 falls flat and doesn't do anything new but flexes a few strengths, like working with a tight pace that keeps the movie going all the way through. They get right into the mayhem from start to finish, keeping us, the viewers, engaged and throwing in a couple laughable moments to break the tension. Some good kills in here, the blood and gore expected from a Scream movie, so they don't cheat us on the body count. The whodunit mechanics are the disappointing part in here. You know how in every previous film, you find yourself looking at every other character trying to see if you can guess who's behind the Ghostface mask before the reveal. Well, unless you've already seen all the spoilers on the internet, you'll never guess who the killers are in here because they're not on the screen enough for you to even think about them. And then the final act, and their reasoning for going after Sidney in the first place and her daughter, is pretty goofy. I guess I was just expecting something a little bigger since we got Sidney back in the films. But hey, that's a Scream movie for you. So overall, I did enjoy Scream 7. It's nowhere near my fave out the whole series, but it was a decent, entertaining horror movie. I recommend the fans of the franchise. Great to see Neve back in the mix, but sad to think what this movie was gonna be if Melissa Barrera and Jenna Ortega stayed on. Plus, adding Neve with them, we could have had something big. So I'll give Scream 7 3 stars out of 5. If you want a nostalgic experience because you love the franchise and Ghostface, then Scream 7 mostly delivers. If you were looking for something fresh, this is not that film. It's a sequel that hits us with great callbacks and Easter eggs and doubles down on what made the series a horror benchmark. So, I'm gonna still tell you, go check it out.
I'm gonna burn it all down. Mother...
Thanks for joining this Scary Hours deep dive into Scream 7. I'd recommend going to see this in theaters if you're a fan. I was in a packed theater, so the crowd experience alone might amp up your viewing pleasure. They were eating it up where I was at. If you enjoyed this deep dive, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and come back for more Scary Hours late night finds and horror cinema. Also, Drop a comment below and let me know if you've seen Scream 7 and where do you think this movie ranks in the series. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But until the next time, I'm your host P for these scary hours. Y'all be safe out there. Peace. Check it out one more again.